you check this prick for any eggs?
I don't need eggs, my friend.
What, Buzzy, slap you right now?
He's on me.
Stop moaning about it. A little push and shove.
Well,
That's
it's
a matter
disrespect.
of fact. How's that disrespect?
Piers Morgan released a promo that revealed a violent altercation between Conor Benn versus Chris Eubank. Building on the tension surrounding their rivalry, Eubank Jr.'s father, Eubank Sr., has addressed the now infamous egg incident, expressing his understanding of his son's reaction. He acknowledged that he knows where this behavior is coming from and admitted that as a father, he is supposed to set an example.
This is not the behavior I understand. Where did that come from? You know, I'm supposed to be his example.
Chris Eubank Sr. opened up about a conversation he had with his son regarding the controversy. According to Sr., Eubank Jr. expressed his frustrations, accusing Conor Benn of being a cheat and revealing that he has been under immense pressure. Jr. described the situation as very messy and admitted allowing himself to be drawn into it. He also acknowledged that the act was pre-planned, explaining that certain people around him had been influencing him, going as far as telling him that his father didn't support him. Feeling isolated, Jr. said he ultimately went through with it.
But I spoke with him a few days ago and he said to me about this egg thing. He said, Dad, he's a cheat. Okay, and you know, we're promoting the fight. And these people have me under a great deal of pressure and the environment is very messy. And I got pulled in. In doing that, you know, yes, I premeditated it because these people are all over me telling me that my dad doesn't like me.
Expanding on this, Chris Eubank Sr. further revealed that, according to his son, Eubank Jr. justified the stunt by referencing Conor Benn's failed drug test, which involved substances derived from eggs. Jr. reportedly felt it was his way of sending a message, believing Benn needed to be confronted over the issue. He also expressed frustration over the way he had been treated, claiming that Benn, along with his father and promoters, had been particularly cruel to him with their words.
It's me alone, Dad. So, you know, that's what I thought I'd do, and, you know, and I've justified it. You know, he supposedly had some type of chemical which is born of eggs, and, you know, and I was going to let him know because he's been very cruel to me in terms of his language, as is also the promoters and Conor's father.
Adding another layer to the controversy, sports journalist Ade Oladipo has confirmed that the British Boxing Board of Control has fined Chris Eubank Jr. £100,000 for the controversial egg slap incident. The decision adds drama to the rivalry between Eubank Jr. and Conor Benn.
Chris Eubank Jr. fined £100,000 by the British Boxing Board of Control for the egg slap. They don't say that here, they say for the egg incident.
Weighing in on the matter, Ade Oladipo also reacted to the decision, calling it a joke. While making it clear that he is not condoning the egg slap incident, he expressed shock at an absurd amount. Oladipo questioned how the British Boxing Board of Control arrived at such a figure, arguing that if there were prior fines or incidents involving Eubank Jr., the decision might be more understandable. He states, "I'll be very shocked if Chris pays that. I think they are going to come to some sort of agreement that we don't know about, where Chris maybe pays a tenth of that."
That's a joke. Honestly, I think that's a joke. And look, this isn't me trying to condone it, right? But come on, man. What is this? Where have they got that amount from? So someone just plucked that amount from thin air, haven't they? And that is, I mean, surely it's just a slap on the wrist for Chris. I mean, if you have priors, then okay, cool. If it was, say it was Derek Chisora that did the egg slap, fine. Derek Chisora's got quite a few priors.
Further elaborating on his stance, he pointed out that Eubank Jr. has always been respectful, leaving him wondering how the governing body justified the hefty penalty. He expressed confusion and went on to explain that that was the board trying to maintain law and order.
But Chris Eubank is always very, very good and always very respectful at press conferences, never does anything. So where they just got this from? I just find it so, and I don't know, man. That's them wanting to kind of lay down the law, and it just doesn't have to be that. I'll be very shocked if Chris pays that.
Highlighting the broader implications and pointing to the impact of the egg slap incident, Ade Oladipo stated that it has massively amplified the buzz around the fight. He acknowledged that the event was already a major attraction, but the controversy surrounding the egg slap has taken it to another level, drawing even more public attention. Oladipo noted that the incident quickly went viral, trending worldwide and adding an extra couple of zeros in everyone's paycheck.
And look, it's made the fight. I mean, the fight was already big, but now the fight's even bigger because of that. Because of that, the fight trended around the world. People are going to tune in, and they always were, but this has definitely added an extra couple of zeros on everyone's paycheck because of Chris Eubank. So I think it's stupid. I know their argument is going to be that it was dangerous and it could have led to this and it could have led to that, and what if the egg went into to Conor Benn's eye? But it didn't. None of that happened.
Echoing a similar sentiment, True Geordie weighed in on the controversy, calling the egg slap a perfect symbol for the situation. He pointed out that in their first scheduled fight, Chris Eubank Jr. successfully made weight while Conor Benn failed a drug test, potentially due to substances linked to steroids. As a result, Eubank Jr. was left drained from the grueling weight cut, only for the fight to be cancelled, costing him both the bout and his paycheck. According to True Geordie, this incident was Jr.'s way of getting payback for what he endured.
And I guess the eggs is a perfect symbol for him of being like, I made weight last time and you failed this test, potentially because of how many eggs he consumed or whatever. And I my whole career up. He drained himself so badly, he ended up getting knocked out in his next fight. He did all that preparation to not fight, to not get paid. And this is my payback right now.
Building on this perspective, True Geordie stated that while he doesn't agree with the egg slap itself, he couldn't deny that Chris Eubank Jr. did a phenomenal job selling the fight. He praised Jr. for turning the incident into a major talking point, generating massive attention like no one else. Geordie highlighted that, whether people loved it or hated it, the stunt made headlines worldwide and further intensified the anticipation for the fight.
I'm not saying I agree with it, by the way, but f me, he just sold that fight like no one's business. And I get why he's trying to do this, because you think about the level of pressure riding on this, right? You've got 30 plus years of listening to their dads talking about the other guy and their rivalry, and now you then have to fulfill your dad's legacy by beating his enemy's son. When they get in that ring, it's not just a boxing match. This is about family.
Adding to the pre-fight spectacle, Piers Morgan sat down with both fighters for an exclusive interview, setting the stage for what promises to be an explosive showdown. Ahead of the full release, Morgan teased a dramatic trailer showcasing intense trash talk and a heated altercation between Chris Eubank Jr. and Conor Benn. The preview hinted at the deep animosity between the two, further fueling the anticipation for their long-awaited clash.
You can check this prick for any eggs.
I don't need eggs, my friend.
What if I was to slap you right now? Stop moaning about it. A little push and shove. That's a matter of fact. How's that disrespect?
Offering further insight into his actions, Chris Eubank Jr. revealed that the moment he heard Conor Benn blaming his failed drug tests on contaminated eggs, he made up his mind that when the time was right, he would contaminate Benn with an egg. He dismissed Benn's explanation as nonsense and saw it as an opportunity to turn the tables. Summing up his reasoning, Eubank Jr. boldly declared, "You live by the egg, you die by the egg."
The day I heard that Conor Benn was blaming his failed drug tests on contaminated eggs. So this was years ago. The day I heard that, I said, you know what? One day I'm gonna contaminate this guy with an egg for this bullshit that he just came out with.
Providing a technical breakdown of the moment, Carl Froch analyzed Chris Eubank Jr. egg slap on Conor Benn. He noted that Benn had no chance to react as the strike was quick and well-timed. Froch pointed out how Eubank Jr. cleverly created a distraction before swiftly leaning in and landing the slap with precision. He viewed the act as a blatant show of disrespect and suggested that if it had happened to him, he would have waited for the right moment to deliver a physical response.
But it was quick. He distracted Conor by saying, "What did you say?" Then he reached for the egg and he clattered him right around the side of the back of the ear and the face, and the egg yolk went everywhere. A lot of the yolk missed him, so it wasn't that embarrassing where he's dribbling with egg yolk. It was a bit of a piss take. It was a fucking liberty. If he'd done that to me, no security guard, I'd have waited. I'd have let the security guard say, "Look, I'm calm, I'm all good. Leave me alone. Okay, let me breathe, let me get my breath." And then I'd have charged at him. One way or another, I'd have got to him. Whether I'd have waited outside for him, I'd have had my day. Nobody eggs me in the face in public and gets away with it.
Adding another perspective on the rivalry, Tony Bellew weighed in on the rivalry, stating that the animosity between Chris Eubank Jr. and Conor Benn is largely one-sided. He explained that he understands why Benn harbors genuine hatred for Eubank Jr., given everything that has happened in the background. However, when it comes to Eubank Jr., Bellew believes it's purely business, suggesting that while Benn is emotionally invested, Eubank Jr. is simply playing the game.
Hatred is too strong of a word. I think the hatred goes one way, and I understand why Conor would hate Chris because of other things that were done in the background to Conor.
Yeah, but it's the same as their fathers. Remember the famous interview? I genuinely, personally do hate him. That's what Nigel Benn said
to Chris Eubank Senior. But I think with Chris, this is purely business.
Further critiquing Eubank Jr.'s actions, he criticized Chris Jr. for crossing the line with the egg slap, stating that while a slap to the top of the head might have been excusable, striking so close to the eye was reckless and could have jeopardized the entire fight. He emphasized the risks involved, sharing his own experience of having scratched eyeballs, an injury he says never fully heals. Bellew compared it to the varnish on a door being stripped away, explaining that once it's gone, it has to be reapplied, highlighting the delicate nature of eye injuries in combat sports.
Chris Eubank crossed the line with the egg slap. Do you think that's all fair in
he did.
promo? Yeah.
Do you know what? I'd have said no if he slapped the egg on top of his head.
Right.
But to slap in the face towards the eye.
In the ear as well.
People have to realise that I've got 2 scratched eyeballs, and the eyeball's the part of the body, it never heals. So the best way to explain it is it would be like varnishing a door. And the varnish comes off, and then you've got to re-put the varnish back on. The liquid on the eye comes off in the cornea, gets damaged, and I say I've got 2 scratched eyeballs.
Shifting focus to the magnitude of the event, Tony Bellew declared this fight as the biggest the UK has ever seen, emphasizing the overwhelming demand for tickets. He confirmed that a staggering 135,000 people are on the waiting list, despite the stadium only accommodating between 75,000 and 80,000 spectators. Bellew believes this number will only continue to rise, stating that interest in the fight is growing at an unstoppable rate.
Quite simply, the biggest fight this country's ever seen.
It's going to be huge.
There's 135,000 people on a waiting list.
Eddie Hearns tweeted that.
It only holds 75 to 80,000.
Maybe they're going to have to upgrade it to Wembley.
It's absolutely insane.
Huge numbers.
It'll keep growing and growing and growing. I'm looking forward to it on the night.
Still 2.5 months to go as well, isn't
there? There is, and I just hope they can put their minds at ease now.
Adding to the pre-fight discussion, former British boxing champion Ricky Hatton shared his thoughts on the highly anticipated clash, highlighting the significance of Conor Benn moving up 2 weight divisions for the fight. Hatton acknowledged Benn's immense self-belief and relentless drive, comparing it to that of his father, Nigel Benn. While he admitted that most factors seem to favor Chris Eubank Jr., Hatton revealed that he is willing to go against the odds, placing his bet on Conor Benn to emerge victorious.
Like the people that Eubank Jr. has fought, you know, at his own weight, let alone 2 weights above, so it'll be very interesting. But Conor has a huge self-belief and drive, to be honest with you, you know, a drive like his dad. The Benn family, I've never seen a family with more drive and determination. So I think everything's pointing at Chris Eubank Jr. But I think I might have a sneaky few quid on Conor, to be honest with you. His drive and his confidence and his self-belief is something that I've only ever seen in a handful of people.
Echoing the widespread anticipation, renowned boxing analyst Teddy Atlas weighed in on the fight, calling it an absolute banger and acknowledging the immense excitement surrounding it in the UK. He stated that the hype is well-deserved, as the bout has all the ingredients needed for a blockbuster event. Atlas pointed out that beyond the in-ring action, the fight carries strong promotional appeal, fueled by deep-rooted animosity, behind-the-scenes drama, and genuine bad blood between the fighters.
I'm going to use your terminology, you guys. Again, the best fans in the world. I'm going to use their terminology. It's a banger. It's a banger. You know, people can't wait to see that, and you know, they're all excited about that, and rightfully so. You know, it's got the promotional chops to it. You know, it's got the behind the scenes stuff to it.
Expanding on the fight's significance, Teddy highlighted the historical weight behind the matchup, emphasizing that both fighters are the sons of legendary rivals, 2 iconic figures in British boxing history. Atlas noted that this adds another layer of intrigue, making the fight even more compelling for fans. He believes this fight has everything needed to draw people in and make it a must-watch event.
You know, with animosity and bad blood, whatever, all that stuff, and it's got the history with the fathers, you know, the 2 fathers that were just iconic British fighters, great fighters. So it's got everything to draw the people in, you know, to watch that fight.
Analyzing the stylistic dynamics, Teddy Atlas stated that this should be an intriguing fight, noting that you can make a case for both fighters. He acknowledged the skill sets of each man and highlighted Eubank Jr.'s abilities when he is at his best. Atlas pointed out that when Eubank Jr. is fully focused and in the right mindset, he can box effectively from the outside, using his technique to control the fight.
It should be an interesting fight. You know, you can make I like parts of each guy. You know, I like the ability of Eubanks when he's right. You know, when his focus is there, when he's right, to be able to do things in a boxing way on the outside. And I love Benn's style and his approach. I do.
Evaluating Benn's approach, Teddy Atlas praised Conor Benn's fighting style, stating that he loves Benn's aggressive yet responsible approach. He highlighted that Benn fights the way a boxer should, applying relentless pressure while still being mindful of defense. Atlas emphasized that Benn engages in the right way, maintaining a balanced mix of offense and awareness, ensuring he stays sharp while consistently pushing forward.
Where, you know, being aggressive in a responsible way, you know, in a way a fighter should be, with paying attention to, you know, doing it with defense and responsibility of defense and, you know, just proper way to engage somebody, but the consistent offense, looking to, you know, to engage. I think it's an interesting.
However, O'Hara Davies explained that he won't be attending the fight, as his presence at such events often turns into more of a social occasion. He noted that whenever he goes to a fight, he ends up doing interviews and engaging in conversations, which takes away from his ability to fully concentrate on the action. Davies stated that when he truly wants to watch and analyze a fight, he prefers to do so from home, where he can stay fully focused on boxing.
I won't be going, and I won't be going for the same reason that I'm doing this interview, because when I'm watching a fight, I like to watch the fight. When I'm there in person, I do interviews, I'm talking to fans, it's more like an event in person. So I like to watch it at home so that I can focus on the boxing.
Remaining neutral, O'Hara Davies refrained from making any predictions for the fight, explaining that he's staying on the sidelines for this one since he knows both fighters personally. While he admitted to knowing Conor Benn a little better, he chose not to take sides. Instead, Davies wished both men the best, hoping they step into the ring, put on a great fight, and leave not only successful and wealthier, but most importantly with their health and brains intact.
Who I think is going to win? I have to sit on the sidelines because I know them both. Obviously, I know Conor Benn a lot more because I trained in the same gym as him, but I also know Chris Eubank. So listen, I just want them both to go in there, come out richer and healthy, and have their brain cells intact. That's it, I just want to see them both go out there and become successful.
Meanwhile, on the Eubank side of things, Harlem Eubank revealed that Chris Eubank Sr. could potentially be in attendance to support Chris Eubank Jr. on fight night. He suggested that it wouldn't take much for Sr. to be there, just a conversation to smooth things over between them.
I think he could potentially be there, yeah. I don't think it would take too much for him to be there. It's just a few conversations and things to be worked out in between, I'm sure, but...
Building on that, Harlem Eubank also acknowledged that at the moment, Chris Eubank Jr. has been carrying the promotion on his own. He pointed out that Eubank Jr. is the one who has truly engaged the public in this fight, using his charisma and ability to control the narrative.
You know, Chris Eubank Jr. is carrying the promotion alone, you know, at the moment. So
why do you say that?
Because he is the one that's engaged the public in this fight.
Expanding on this, Harlem emphasized that without Eubank Jr. himself knowing how to pull strings and stay mentally and physically 10 steps ahead, there would be no real promotion for the fight.
Without Chris being Chris and knowing how to pull strings, you know, and be 10 steps ahead mentally, as well as physically as he will be in the ring. Without him, there is no promotion for the fight.
Shifting the focus to the in-ring aspects, Mark Tibbs weighed in on the fight, emphasizing the crucial role of weight management in determining the outcome. He stated that fights are often won and lost on the scales, highlighting how significant the weight factor will be in this matchup. Tibbs described it as a true 50-50 fight, acknowledging that both fighters bring their own set of strengths and weaknesses.
Well, I know what,
fights are won and lost on the scales. I know what he can do when you're tight for weight. I know how difficult it is when you're tight for weight, and unless you're around both of them, listen, there's pluses, there's pros and cons in that, and it really is such a 50-50.
Elaborating further, Mark Tibbs noted that Conor Benn's ferocity could prove overwhelming for Chris Eubank Jr., but at the same time, he acknowledged that Eubank Jr. has faced better opposition throughout his career. However, Tibbs pointed out that Eubank Jr. has not been the most active fighter in recent years and is beginning to age, which could be a factor in the fight. While he sees it as a true 50-50 contest, he ultimately believes the weight will favor Benn, giving him the slight edge in this highly anticipated showdown. With fight night fast approaching, anticipation continues to build for this heated showdown. All eyes will be on Eubank Jr. and Benn as they step into the ring to settle their rivalry once and for all. If you're vibing with this fight breakdown, smash that like button, drop a comment, and share it with your crew. Don't forget to subscribe to Boxism for more knockout updates you won't want to miss a beat.